Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is April 11th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage an earth-changing Defcon-level event during the live broadcast of UFC 327 in Miami, Florida on the evening of April 11th of 2026 in the United States, which would be April 12th of 2026 elsewhere around the world. The notion that the CIA is plotting a DEFCON level event during the live broadcast of UFC 327 is corroborated by the fact that this event will be attended by U.S. President Donald J. Trump, despite the fact that there is a war raging in Iran, and Vice President J.D. Vance is currently in Pakistan trying to negotiate a ceasefire between the United States and Iran. So what I'm going to do is outline the top 10 most likely scenarios that are going to transpire on the evening of April 11th of 2026, starting with the most obvious ones. What we know about this impending event is that it's going to be CBRN in nature. That's chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear nature. We know that it's going to be used to spawn a second global biological pandemic and or trigger World War III. And it is most certainly going to result in the assassination of U.S. President Donald J. Trump. Before I get into the top 10, I just want to highlight the numerology, which is blinking red. The date of April 11th is coincidentally the 101st day of the year. The number 101 or 11 equates to letter K in the English alphabet, which is an acronym for kill, because a lot of people are going to die this evening. Also, the the event of UFC 327 bears the 27 numerology, which is found in the 27 Club. Janis Joplin, Jimmy Morrison, Kurt Cobain, etc. Jim Morrison, if I didn't mention that, that have all died on the 27 numerology. This is also the numerology of the London bombings of 7/7, July 7th, 2005. And it also has, more importantly, the 37 numerology, which is 3 sevens is 777, which is symbolically a number found in the tetragram of Yahweh, which is the highest God in Judaism. So this is going to be a cooperation between the first Jewish state of Switzerland, founded circa August 1st, 1309, and the third Jewish state, entitled the State of Israel, founded May 14th of 1948, and they're going to be working in tandem on the evening of April 11th through the 12th to basically terrorize humanity and bring about a DEFCON level event as pretext for the aforementioned second global biological pandemic and or World War III. The notion that Switzerland is intimately involved in this event is corroborated by the fact that the numerology of April 11th is 411, which is found in the official motto of Switzerland, all for one, one for all. That's the official motto. So this bears their numeric signature. It also has the Yahweh signature, which is the single highest God in Judaism. So that means that they're going to stage blood sacrifice events to this numerology on this particular evening. Okay, what I'm calling Operation Double Down, the CIA is planning on flying an alleged nuclear warhead-laden commercial airliner directly into Miami, Florida, during UFC 327. They're likely going to I forget the name of this building, but they're likely going to fly the previously hijacked Malaysian Airlines flight MH370, a Boeing 737, which was allegedly hijacked by 2 Iranian nationals while en route from Kuala Lumpur Airport in Malaysia to Beijing International Airport in China back on March 8th of 2014. This plane mysteriously disappeared despite it having a black box. It was never found. and they're likely going to fly it directly into the Cassia Center. It's where the UFC event is being held in Miami, which is coincidentally right on the port of Miami, right on the shoreline of Miami, and it coincidentally has a glass facade on one side of the stadium facing the ocean. So it appears that the plane is going to come directly into the stadium, and then this stadium, beneath this stadium, is a trove, a war chest, for lack of a better term, of liquid nitroglycerin that is going to be detonated, and we're going to see an apocalyptic explosion rip through and take out most of Miami. That is the found. This is an old plot. This was basically developed in the early 90s with the invention or the creation of the Miami Heat basketball team, which has a fiery basketball. This is this fireball that is going to envelop Miami and kill millions of people. This is going to happen, or is planned to happen tonight, and they plan to basically execute a nuclear assassination of U.S. President Donald J. Trump during the live broadcast of this event. This event is likely going to be Russia or China-backed Pakistani terrorists. That is why J.D. Vance is currently in Pakistan, is because they plan to frame Pakistan for this attack. This is a tired and old plot that was basically the nexus of the Super Bowl XLV nuclear terror plot, which I published a book entitled The Nuclear Bible for a 9/11 style nuclear terror attack targeting AT&T Stadium during Super Bowl XLV between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers in Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, back on February 6th of 2011. This was going to be an Osama bin Laden-backed, Pakistan-backed Osama bin Laden 9/11 style nuclear terror attack, and that's apparently what is planned this evening. That's the breaking news, is that they're going to nuke President Trump in Miami, Florida, and they're going to kill millions of people, and then they're going to blame Pakistan and China. Likely that's the angle that they're going to go, and that's why J.D. Vance flew over to Pakistan today or yesterday. So that's designed to elevate Pakistan, and then J.D. Vance will either be killed or he'll fly back to the United States, and then so they're going to go either Barack Obama or J.D. Vance. That's the plan. I don't know which one they're going to go with. I would assume it's going to be Barack Hussein Obama. So if that is the case, then J.D. Vance will likely be killed in Pakistan on the date of April 12th. So they'll make it look like a decapitation strike of the United States, which will likely be blamed on Pakistan and or China or some sort of Islamic terror group such as Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. That being said, number one is an 9/11 style nuclear terror attack. Number two is a Trump assassination or death event surrounding UFC 327 in Miami. So Trump is already in Miami. He's at Doral National Golf Club, which is his golf club, and he is going to be taking a motorcade from there or from his house in West Palm Beach, Florida, en route to the aforementioned Cassia Center on the beach in the port of Miami in Florida. So Donald J. Trump and or his motorcade could suffer an assassination event, some sort of an ambush attack. This could be a drone, this could be a sniper, this could be IEDs, VB IEDs, truck bombings, this could be anything. But it's imperative to note that Donald J. Trump has a bullseye on his head this evening. So it's highly likely that he will be murdered in some form or fashion. There's also the possibility that they will sneak a Palestinian suicide bomber into the Cassia Center, home of the Miami Heat, and that will be detonated as part of a Plan B to terminate the presidency of Donald J. Trump. A medical-related event is also possible. There could be a horrific event inside the stadium which causes Trump to have a heart attack or what have you. But number two is a Trump assassination or death event. Number three is some sort of Russian submarine-based event targeting the port of Miami. So this could be an aerial bombardment allegedly committed by a Russian submarine, most likely courtesy of a German-made Dolphin-class Israeli submarine. This could be a underwater detonation. We know that over the last 2 years, roughly 6 or 7 ships from Cuba or from Russia have landed in Cuba, and so there is a precedent set for Russian activity, and we just had this Russian tanker filled with, I believe it was 500,000 gallons of oil, just arrived in Havana, the port of Havana, breaking the previous blockade put in by the Trump administration just a few days ago. So this ship may have been allegedly shadowed or escorted by Russian submarines from the North Sea to the Caribbean, and so some sort of Russian submarine-related event is expected. That being said, there's also the realistic possibility, because U.S. President Donald J. Trump is continually threatening to basically decapitate the island of Cuba and their leadership, that there would be some sort of Russian-backed Cuban Revolutionary Armed Guard Forces-based event targeting Miami, Florida. This could be a storming attack targeting the Acacia Center in Miami, Florida, or it could be some sort of a Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces Air Force type event or naval event targeting the port of Miami. We could see a future scenario where alleged MiGs from the Cuban Air Force execute some sort of a bombing raid. There could be some sort of a naval ambush. We just had this incident off the coast of Cuba where Cuban authorities allegedly killed 4 people in a raft that were allegedly trying to overthrow the Cuban government. So some sort of a coup. But roughly 5 years ago, there was an international terrorism drill in Tampa, Florida, where they had special forces from all over the world participate in this massive invasion of Florida type event. So some sort of Cuba-backed or Russia-backed event, possibly some sort of a mass invasion event targeting Miami, is also highly likely. Number 5 is some sort of directed energy weapon related event. We've all heard of Havana syndrome. This is the narrative that's being put forth by the CIA is that Russia has developed a top secret energy weapon that is located on the island of Cuba. This is a directed energy weapon that is allegedly causing the Havana syndrome, which has been reported by numerous consulate and embassy workers in Cuba. So this is basically a version of the weapon which was used by the United States Armed Forces in the decapitation strike against Caracas, Venezuela, back on January 3rd of 2026, which Trump referred to as a discombobulator. So some sort of event targeting Miami. This is basically what they call the zombie pandemic. This has the ability to basically liquefy people's brains and their eardrums, and we've seen previous events aside from the Havana syndrome where the Miami apartment complex just disintegrated into the ground. So some sort of an event targeting Miami, possibly Miami Beach, possibly the aforementioned Acacia Center. Number 6 is some sort of a allegedly natural earthquake and or tsunami event. There has been a number of earthquakes reported off the coast of Miami, Florida, and so some sort of alleged natural earthquake or tsunami event, likely featuring a massive tidal wave targeting Miami, Florida. Number 7 is an ICBM strike by Russia. So this could be a ICBM strike targeting Miami, Orlando, or Tampa, or it could be an ICBM strike targeting Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, Havana, Cuba, or Miami, Florida, but some sort of Russian event. They have done a masterful job of associating Russia with Florida, aside from the fact that Trump lives in Florida and he's allegedly colluding with Russia. The Russia-Ukrainian peace talks were held in Miami, Florida. And so they have gone out of their way to do that, and that is because they're planning some sort of a Russian military offensive targeting Miami or Greater Florida, possibly launched from Cuba. Number 8 is a Russian takeover event of Cuba. As previously mentioned, there is this ongoing embargo by the Trump administration against the island of Cuba regarding fuel, gas and oil namely, and so some sort of a friendly takeover of the island is expected. This is basically designed to trigger a Cuban-like missile crisis as pretext for an escalating international crisis between Russia and the United States designed to trigger World War III. Number 9 is some sort of a weaponized bioattack or weaponized biological airborne contagion-laden 9/11 style crash targeting the woke Disney World Resort Center in Orlando, Florida. So this has been planned for a long time. There has been multiple arrests of alleged neo-Nazis planning attacks on Disney World, and so apparently they're going to fly a plane or two into the park on the evening of April 11th of 2026, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic. Last but not least, ever since the gruesome injury to UFC fighter Conor McGregor, who was basically in a fight against Dustin Poirier, he stepped back in the cage and he was hit with a directed energy weapon, which completely shattered his entire ankle bone. So I would suspect that on the evening of April 11th of 2026, that the CIA will stage some sort of a directed energy weapon or related event targeting one or more fighters participating in UFC 327. This could result in brain damage, death, paralyzation, hospitalization, bone breaks, internal bleedings, etc., etc. And this may happen in a rather grotesque fashion. It's just a matter of time before they kill somebody inside the ring, and that may be on the evening of April 11th. So obviously, if any of the aforementioned scenarios come to fruition in reality on the evening of April 11th or the morning of April 12th of 2026, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.